Under the Hill. A romantic novel. Tug most eminent and reverend prince. Giulio Poldo Petzela, Cardinal of the Holy Roman Church, titular Bishop of Esmeralda, Intraste Archbishop of Ostia and Velletri Nuncio to the Holy See in Nicaragua and Patagonia, Father to the poor, reformer of ecclesiastical discipline, a pattern of learning, wisdom, and holiness of life. This book is dedicated with due reverence. C.B. his humble servitor, scrivener, and limner of worldly things, who made this book. Aubrey Beardsley. Most eminent prince. I know not by what mischance the writing of epistles dedicatory has fallen into disuse, whether through the vanity of authors or the humility of patrons. But the practice seems to me so very beautiful and becoming that I have ventured to make an essay in the modest art, and lay with formalities my first book at your feet. I have, it must be confessed, many fears lest I shall be arraigned of presumption in choosing so exalted a name as your own to place at the beginning of this history, but I hope that such a censure will not be too lightly passed upon me, for if I am guilty it is but of a most natural pride that the accidents of my life should allow me to sail the little pinnace of my wit under your protection. But though I can clear myself of such a charge, I am still minded to use the tongue of apology, for with what face can I offer you a book treating of so vain and fantastical a thing as love? I know that in the judgment of many the amorous passion is accounted a shameful thing and ridiculous. Indeed, it must be confessed that more blushes have risen for love's sake than for any other cause, and that lovers are an eternal laughing stock. Still, as the book will be found to contain matter of deeper import than mere venery, inasmuch as it treats of the great contrition of its chiefest character, and of canonical things in certain pages, I am not without hopes that your eminence will pardon my writing of a loving abbe, for which extravagance let my youth excuse me. Then I must crave your forgiveness for addressing you in a language other than the Roman, but my small freedom in latinity forbids me to wander beyond the idiom of my vernacular. I would not for the world that your delicate southern ear should be offended by a barbarous assault of rude and Gothic words, but methinks no language is rude that can boast polite writers, and not a few such have flourished in this country in times past, bringing our common speech to very great perfection. In the present age, alas, our pens are ravished by unlettered authors and unmannered critics, that make a havoc rather than a building, a wilderness rather than a garden. But, alack, what boots it to drop tears upon the preterite? It is not of our own shortcomings though, but of your own great merits that I should speak, else I should be forgetful of the duties I have drawn upon myself in electing to address you. In a dedication. It is of your noble virtues, though all the world know of them, your taste and wit, your care for letters, and very real regard for the arts, that I must be the proclaimer. Though it be true that all men have sufficient wit to pass a judgment on this or that, and not a few sufficient impudence to print the same, these last being commonly accounted critics, I have ever held that the critical faculty is more rare than the inventive. It is a faculty your eminence possesses in so great a degree that your praise or blame is something oracular, your utterance infallible as great genius or as a beautiful woman. Your mind, I know, rejoicing in fine distinctions and subtle procedures of thought, beautifully discursive rather than hastily conclusive, has found in criticism its happiest exercise. It is a pity that so perfect a Methodist should have no horrors to befriend, no Georgies to accept, for the offices and function of patron or critic must of necessity be lessened in an age of little men and little work. In times past it was nothing derogatory for great princes and men of state to extend their loves and favor to poets, for thereby they received as much honor as they conferred. Did not Prince Festus with pride take the masterwork of Julian into his protection, and was not the Aeneis a pretty thing to offer Caesar? Learning without appreciation is a thing of naught, but I know not which is greatest in you, your love of the arts, or your knowledge of them. What wonder then that I am studious to please you, and desirous of your protection? How deeply thankful I am for your past affections you know well, your great kindness and liberality having far outgone my slight merits and small accomplishment that seemed scarce to warrant any favor. Alas, 'tis a slight offering I make you now, but if after glancing into its pages, say of an evening upon your terrace, you should deem it worthy of the remotest place in your princely library, the knowledge that it rested there would be reward sufficient for my labors, and a crowning happiness to my pleasure in the writing of this slender book. The humble and obedient servant of your eminence, Aubrey Beardsley.